Hello, everyone. I'm Christoph Laputka, and this is Leviathan Presents. It's a segment where we highlight one audio fiction creator, have a conversation, and then play a full episode of their show right here in our feed. I hope you'll enjoy today's guest, and without further ado, let's get into the interview. This is Leviathan Presents. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Leviathan Presents. And today, we're going to be playing an episode of a great new audio drama called Human-B-Gon, and talking to its creator and showrunner, Drew Frohmann, about his show and how it all came about. I met Drew earlier this year at the New Jersey Web Fest, where he won Best Writing in a Fiction Podcast, as well as Best Director. And we just had a terrific time sitting at our table and chatting. And I knew that I wanted to have him and Human-B-Gon on an episode of Leviathan Presents. And if you like the idea of a comical take on our robot overlords taking over society, you are going to love Human-B-Gon. It's such a fun show, and I love podcasts with sort of a whimsical premise, but with really serious audio drama and audio effects chops to back it up. And there's a reason why Human-B-Gon has been stacking up awards this year, and you should definitely check it out. But for now, let's talk to the man who brought it all to your headphones, Drew Frohmann. Welcome to Leviathan Presents.
Oh my gosh. Hey, Christoph. What an amazing intro.
It is great to have you here. Tell our listeners a little bit about Human-B-Gon. What is the premise and how did the show all come about?
Okay, great. So the premise, basically in the near future, when the machines are going to go self-aware, what will happen, two things are going to happen. One is that they're going to completely take over the world, and humanity is going to be reduced to basically scavenging little pests. But the other thing that's going to happen when they go self-aware, these robots who have now built this society, self-awareness is going to hit them as hard as it hit us. So they end up being as insecure, neurotic, dependent on drugs, full of denial as we are. So they're complete emotional basket cases, even though they have complete control of the planet.
It's a great premise because, like you said, these robots are now, they're vain, they're ambitious, they're greedy, and they're kind of horny at certain points too. Like it's it's really fun to see all these like human characteristics in the robots. One of the things that's funny is the robots are kind of like, the main characters, and the humans are, as you said, these little pests. And you created this really fun effect for the humans. I don't know how to describe it. I told my friend it's a little bit like Beaker on the Muppets, if you know the reference.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, basically. Yeah, the whole premise being so many times in these post-apocalyptic things, we assume that the robots and the humans are going to be kind of even, but I think that's adorably optimistic. Like it's not even going to be close on a physical level, on an intellectual, on a cognitive level. So the idea that the robots would even care about our language, maybe they wouldn't. So then the idea of this is that first of all, humans are a lot smaller than these giant robots. And then also the robots don't care to learn their language. So yeah, in the show, they kind of just, they sound like these gibbering little things. They're tiny and they're dirty and smelly too, right? They just excrete fluids. And the robot's like, what is that?
And that's one of the fun things. Like, no humans have speaking roles really in the show. It's all the robots. I mean, it's they're the ones with all their foibles and everything else that they're talking about. And what is Human-B-Gon? Because the title of the show is really the name of a company.
Right, exactly, which is sort of like, it's almost like those old 2000 A&E reality shows, sort of like Pawn Stars or Dog the Bounty Hunter. So Human-B-Gon is the name of the show, but it's also the name of the company. So it's a small business of robots who then answer calls from rich algorithms to go and capture stray humans. They're sort of a pest control firm. And so they'll get a call and go, hey, I got some humans stuck in my charging pods. And then this crew of robots go out and in reality show style, we follow them. But they don't just exterminate them. They're into ethical relocation. And so they ethically relocate the humans to Garbage Island. They dump them there. And yeah, so, most of the humans survive, but sometimes they don't. It's kind of like the way we treat raccoons or dolphins or octopi or lobsters, right? We have a vague sense. We know, we read things that, they have a language and a hierarchy and they have feelings, but Oh, well, let's boil them alive. So the robots have that kind of, yeah, weird relationship with the
It's
humans.
it's
Yeah.
it's so funny the way that the humans are just like the as you said, these squishy, messy, stinky little pets that, the robots kinda look down on. When you were imagining the series, I mean, first tell us a little bit about, like, how you came up with the idea for the show, and then what was the scene you wanted to have translated into audio drama? What was the gem of the idea that you're like, "Okay, I need to bring this into people's headphones?"
Yeah, okay, well, yeah, it kinda had a bunch of steps. So it all started from Andrew Yang was coming up in sort of the social consciousness, or certainly was on my YouTube feed, and he was talking a lot about how AI was gonna, like, radically change things. And then somewhere in there too, I read this article where maybe it was MIT, I don't know where it was, but they put 2 AIs, and set them talking to each other, and within seconds, the AIs created their own language, started talking to each other at a rate that the scientists literally unplugged both machines because they didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. And when I read that, I was like, "Oh, right, they might not even care that we exist. They might just go right past us. There might not be a war, and they might not care. They just might, you know?" So that was like, "Oh my god." But that's so different than, like I said before, we always assume, or most writers will assume, oh, humans and machines will interact. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. So that was really interesting. And then the idea of the self awareness, making them emotionally in denial and all that stuff was like, okay, that's really funny. So putting those two things together were funny. And then it took a while. I originally kind of was writing this thing as like almost like, do you remember the old show Taxi?
Oh, yeah, with Danny DeVito and Judd Hirsch, Mary Lou Henner, yeah.
Yeah, it was like a working stiffs kind of a show.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Oh, these bots are gonna be like working robots." And then the class thing was always there. I always wanted to have these rich sort of algorithms sort of pushing them down. And then it was a reality show. I don't know, somehow that because it's sort of the language of insecurity and of neurosis, you know? So it was like, oh, and then that gave me a narrator, right? Because one of the big problems is exposition is how do you do that? And then the reality
Yeah,
show
yeah.
unleashed that, like, oh, they can be the narrator. And then all those narrations are character moments. And right, and that's how you show off their neuroses. So once I had that, then it became what's the name of the company, and then it all kind of worked from there. And then it was all about building a reality show, just in audio.
I think that was such an effective device, and for our listeners, you're gonna hear very shortly, it feels like you're listening to an episode of The Office or Parks and Recreation or any of those, you know, mockumentary styles, and I think it's so effective at both informing, like, where the robots are coming from, what their, problems and motivations are, and voicing their frustrations. It sounds just like the television shows that we're all used to, like Undercover Boss or
Yeah,
something like that,
exactly.
and I think you do it really well, and the other thing that you do that's, I think, so effective is your use of music, and music is deeply in the DNA of your show. One of the other things I like is, again, treating it like a television show. You have commercials. You created your own fictional commercials, and it just immerses the listener even deeper into this world of robot overlords. I'm dying to know, like, how did you get this musical inspiration for the jingles and the songs and everything else? Are you doing it yourself? Who's helping you? It sounds amazing.
Okay, so it came from a bunch of different things. The commercials. So my day job, I work with this studio called Tattoo Sound and Music here in Toronto, and they're just the top. They're like really, really great. And we do my day job is like directing voices for radio commercials or post audio and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty awesome. And then there's this, the guys and gals there are just incredible composers and whatnot. So then I had to pitch it to Steve, who owns it, and he was like, "Yeah, he's a madman." So he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So then I had a sort of a small sort of crew that I could work with. The commercial, and it'll dovetail into the music thing. So the commercial thing was because we work in commercials, so we've got a lot of angst. Like we're working out a lot of PTSD with these commercials. Like we're making fun of all the things we do every day, all the different eras of commercials. I'm a commercial nerd because of the business I'm in. So like I know the differences between a 70s jingle and an 80s and all that. So it's like, oh, now the commercials in the show were all about world building. It was all about setting up that class structure of the robots or the working stiffs, and then the algorithms or the ruling class. And so then what do commercials, who pays for those commercials and who are they targeted at? The ones targeted at algorithms are like, keep those dirty robots out of your house. And then the ones targeted to robots are like, keep on working hard, like, drink this energy drink and keep working and don't complain. So there was that. But one of the things was the composer that I was working with. There was a couple of things that happened there. So Oliver Wickham is the composer on it. First of all, he's a special talent. That was I knew that going in, but what I didn't know that he was a reality show junkie. So he like
No way.
yeah, exactly. So he was all about, oh my God, Vanderpump Rules and Inked, I think it is, right? That's the tattoo one. So like he got it, which was, as it turns out, really important because it's a really specific sort of vibe. And music is integral to reality shows, like way more than I even realized until we got into it. So suddenly music became super important. And then as he look, he's so good that what I just started to do is I just wrote more and more musical things because he just, when he writes things, like it's special. So I just kept exploiting him as hard as I could because he's just amazing. So that's where a lot of it came from as well.
It reminded me of, and I'm gonna date myself here, but when I was a kid, they used to sell these packs of cards with like fake ads for like stickers and stuff like Garbage Pail
Garbage
Kids,
Pail Kids, yes.
and I think your show does that so well of making fun of the brands and the ad types, and some of the cheesy commercials from the
You
70s.
know, it's a funny thing. Jingles have kind of died as a thing, but they're super fun to make. So then writing jingle lyrics and then creating a jingle is super fun. So then this is an excuse for all of us to do all these fun things that a lot of times you don't really get to do. Yeah.
Well, one of the fun things that I love you having to show is the jingle for Human-B-Gon itself, and we'll play it right now so audiences can know what we're talking about. Okay, so how did that come about? How did you come up with that fun little Humans Be Gone?
Well, that was basically, again,
Who sang it?
that's Oliver. I mean, he's almost
No
everything.
way.
Everything you're hearing that sung is almost all him. I mean, the female singers, we have some. Yeah, we just pulled in some great actors and stuff in Toronto and some incredible singers. But yeah, it's him. He's also a great singer and he's killing the voiceover side. He's just one of these sick, and he's a handsome dude. He's nice and he's smart and he's one of these guys, you know. So like I said, I'm just exploring. I'm riding him until he's like off, like you know, hanging out with Hans Zimmer or whatever. So I figure I got like a year or two. Honestly,
Hold on to him.
That's exactly it. Yeah. So he sang that. That was like he kind of had in his head sort of a 90s teenage Johnny Test sort of vibe. And then everyone was like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I just keep using it over and over because you're right. It's like it's really catchy.
It becomes a total earworm. And you bring up a good point about casting and assembling the team to help create your story. You have a pretty substantial cast. You have the core workers at Human-B-Gon, and then you have all of these guest stars where you kind of, not only are you making fun of kind of commercialism, but you're making fun of the cult of celebrity that we see on reality shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
How'd you go about casting? Is that something that you did through the studio you were working with, or did you
Yeah.
put out a specific casting call for this new audio drama you were creating?
Both. It was both. So over the years, I worked with a whole lot of folks, and in this sort of tier of budget had a lot to do with what we were doing here, as far as who we could cast, who we couldn't. We did it. We did like a 5-day casting. Like Dana was just so nice. She's the executive producer at Tattoo, and she just went crazy. And we put it out on Facebook. We put it on all sorts of groups. I went out for a better part of the year, going out to improv bars and stuff like that in Toronto, and just kind of creeping out young actors going, hey, but yeah, I found a couple just like that because it was more an improv thing than a voiceover actor thing. I'm sure this is your experience too. Like comedic acting is very different than sort of voiceover. And so
Absolutely.
yeah, so we needed actors, and improv and stuff. So it's funny, I didn't have the whole thing written the whole time. I had the first episode. I worked really hard on the pilot, got that done, and then started writing the rest. And after that casting, and there was a few other people who were like insane actors, like who are like not just like great, but also like absolutely insane. And I'm like, oh, we have to use those people. I don't know where, I don't know how, but in the writing, it was like, oh, found a character for him, for her, for her, for him.
Mhm.
And so there's a lot of that going on as well. I literally had this little list that I would kind of look at every once in a while and go, where do I put her? Where do I put him? So there was some of that, which I love writing to people's voices. So that was super
Oh,
fun.
totally. Totally. And to their strengths, right? Whether it's comedic or singing or
Yep,
drama, right.
that's exactly it. Yeah.
One of the things that I think makes Human-B-Gon, so special is you have this kind of, again, crazy idea, but your audio effects and your soundscape is so realistic and so professional and contemporary. For all the audio drama geeks that are listening, what was the hardest scene to construct for you? What was the most challenging?
Ooh, that's a good one. The quantum field hockey one was actually super interesting to do. That was well, you heard a clip of it in New Jersey. So the crew go to a quantum field hockey team stadium, which is right, exactly. So it's quantum, so everything happens differently, but at the same time. So then they're trying to capture this one human, but the humans in this quantum reactor. So everything's happening in stereo. So when Hundo talks, she's talking one way, and then she's talking the same kind of thing, but with different words at the same time. So when you listen to it, it's really confusing. So you can only imagine trying to put it together, trying to explain it to the engineers. You're like, so what is this? Right. And we're like, oh no, it's going to happen at the same time. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense. And so that was the hard part is how do you slowly unfurl that effect so that the audience can be confused, and then making sure that the characters were also confused. And then the weird irony is that you can actually take in when the person's talking at the same time, you can take both things in, but very nonlinear. Anyways, that one was insane to put together. That was super fun.
Well, because and first of all, like, we've got savvy, smart listeners that understand, the uncertainty principle behind quantum mechanics, and you created this superposition of voices and things happening, like, being 2 places at the same time, and I would imagine as a creator, the challenge of that is you have to write essentially 2 scenes, like, because 'cause they're overlapping on each other.
Yeah, yeah, it was the figuring out how to make that halfway, intelligible for the audience to know what was going on, and then writing the 2 scenes. Actually, the hard part there was so part of their problem is they have this little creature, this little human that they're trying to capture, but he's in superposition. Like you said, he's in 2 places at once. So how do you scientifically, how do you disentangle, how do you create a quantum entanglement? And so I had to go, I researched the hell out of it and then I found a way and it's super complicated. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Have somebody explain this super complicated thing in 2 different ways at the same time. And as you heard, it is complete gibberish, but it sort
It's
of
so great.
works. Yeah. Yeah. That was really, really fun to write. Yeah.
I bet, and I thought that scene was amazing, and by the way, everybody in the audience at New Jersey Web Fest was howling. They loved that it was such a smart idea, done funny and done well, and it was great to see. Now we're gonna be listening to episode 1 of Human-B-Gon. What do you want our listeners to know about the show, and what should they understand going into their first listen?
Wow. What a good question. What to understand? Yeah, it's taking place in the near future, hopefully not too near on a strictly right. If we're talking audio nerd thing, what I will say to people is, look, it was the pilot episode. So, you know, we did our very, very best and the writing is okay. I swear the writing gets better, but it is one of those things where I'm sure so many creators, I hope, have that. I certainly do. Is the first episode I worked really hard on it to get it as good as I could, but I think there's things in it I would go back and fix, but too late. You got to move forward. But as far as the characters, I think it's there. You can tell it's a reality show. You understand who the folks are, who the robots are, and all the main characters get introduced. That's not helpful, Christoph. I don't know. That's not very good.
Well, no, I agree with what you're saying that, first episodes, when you create, an audio drama, you create that first episode and you want that to be the showcase and you wanna do it as well as you know how to do it at the time, but then you create the episode and you learn so much in the process, they're like, "Oh, man, I'm gonna do even better with episode 2 and episode 3," and I think you're absolutely right. It taps into something that all audio drama because there's no school for audio drama. You're always learning on the job, but I think your episode 1 is a really strong one for world building. I think it's funny and I'm so excited for our listeners to get a listen. And without any further ado, Drew, thank you for being here on Leviathan Presents. And now we're gonna play episode 1 of Human-B-Gon.
Bye, everyone. Hope you like the episode.
Warning to all listening units, this episode contains violence, but only to humans, so it's not so bad.
Hello, fellow robots! Thanks for tuning in! After winning the Singularity Wars against the humans, life is good for us robots. Now we have jobs, homes, and families.
Morning, Gib.
Morning, Dust.
But there's still the occasional pesky human infestation. Luckily, there's Human-B-Gon, ethical human relocation. I'm Kit. I took over Human-B-Gon from my daddy. Now, I'm the owner, dispatcher, office manager, accountant, and morale booster.
I'm Hundo. Ain't no human I can't catch, latch, and redispatch.
I'm Influx, tech specialist, mission ops coordinator, and transportation morphine vehicle.
Together, we are
It's getting cold here in Droidston, Nanotoba, so more humans are finding shelter where it's warm.
A human's internal heating system is stupid weak, so when the temperature drops, they get inside any building they can find.
That's when we get a call.
and this call is a biggie. Human-B-Gon, providing ethical human relocation since rotation 14.7. How may I help you? Yes, they do smell awful. It's the feces. We will. Thank you, Miss Blanchett. 8 Blanchett. The 8 Blanchett. I loved her in The Curious Case of Ben's Jamming Buttons. The movie went backwards.
According to my intel, 8 Blanchett is a suspected member of the Algorithminati. All these rich algo clients, they think I'm just a dumb pest control drone. But every picosecond I'm on their property, I'm watching, scanning, monitoring patterns. The algorithm robot class war is coming, man. Are you ready? 'Cause I am.
8 Blanchett says she has a nest of humans stuck in her ventilation system near her Mercury pool house. Sounds like a lot of humans are stuck in there, so we need to be on our best game. I'm gathering the crew for the big job, but there's a little issue with Hundo. Influx, where's Hundo?
He's over there, sleeping in your basmati rice bed.
Are you serious? Hundo, wake up!
Hello, hi.
I suffer from type B humidititis. It gets very painful over the course of a day. I've told Hundo a quadrillion times my basmati rice bed is not just a couch to sleep off hangovers.
I took a nap, so what? Here, look at me. I'm getting out. No harm to your stupid friggin' bed.
Hundo got out of the bed, and the basmati rice was soaked.
Hundo, you leaked in my basmati rice bed!
No, what? No, no, I didn't. You did.
Scan confirms SE fluid.
Oh, wow, gee, thanks so much, Influx. That's really...
Hundo and I used to date, and I guess she's still struggling to get over me. Partying, doing drugs.
Okay, first of all, humidititis? Come on. Kid thinks he catches every virus going around. He still says he's living with Y2K.
The fact that we work together every day probably makes it hard for Hundo because she's constantly reminded of me. I mean, I don't even care about the basmati rice bed. I'm more concerned for a Hundo than anything. I just hope leaking herself in her sleep is the wake-up call she needs.
Look, Hundo, that's me, doesn't leak herself in anyone's basmati rice bed. What Hundo does is go to the club. Hundo rolls past the lineup because Hundo knows the owner and the owner knows Hundo. So Hundo does a tri-tube of neon. Hundo hooks up with 2 orgasmatrons, maybe also named Hundo. I don't know, because I kind of blacked out at that point. And then I wake up in a basmati rice bed and Hundo is at work and on time.
I hacked the time punch system for Hundo in exchange for neon.
Kit says I'm overcompensation. But like, overcompensation for what? For being amazing? Yeah, of course I'm amazing. I'm Hundo. If you're not leaking, you're not beaking, am I right?
Hundo and Kit are in a perpetual state of on/off.
You go off and do whatever you want.
Do already.
Fine.
Good.
Fine.
Cool.
Good.
Coupling is all too common for lower intelligence robots. Me, I'm a level 12 intelligence, so I'm not affected by subroutines like jealousy or love. So I just let those two trade insecurities.
Oh, yeah? Well, I never liked your music.
I told you they were demos, Kit. They need production values to really make them pop.
Basmati rice is impossible to get this time of year.
While I prep for the mission at hand. The Algo Blanchett job is a simple bag and drag. Extract the humans, then return them to their natural habitat. But this sounds like a big job, so I loaded every cage I can fit into my rear compartment, which means there's no room in the truck ship for kits.
I am a little disappointed in not being able to go with Hundo and Influx on the job, but mostly I'm thrilled for Human-B-Gon. So I'll stay back and liaison with 8 Blanchett remotely while Hundo and Influx get to meet her in person. I mean, that's amazing. We're doing a massive extraction for 8 Blanchett.
8 who?
Now that we're ready to go do the job, I morph into a truck ship.
Then Influx and I take off to 8 blankets.
Oh, it's Blanchett!
With me and Hundo in the air, I set a course to 8 Blanchett's estate in Upper Droidston. Then I put myself on autopilot while me and Hundo partake in some medicinal Maggie.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is. Pass that over here.
Here you go. Strictly for medicinal purposes.
Yeah, no, of course. This helps my humidititis. Ooh, yo, Influx, this is smooth. You machine this yourself?
Oh, you know it. I grind the iron filings from an old tanker and then I magnetize it myself. See, I build these special chambers.
Man, what did I ever see in Kit? I never liked your music. Oh yeah, as friggin' if, right? Like Influx, you like my music.
No, man, I'm just trying to get high.
Oh, don't be modest. I know you do. No. Here, check this out. It's my latest jam.
I told you, don't touch my console.
Here we go and play.
Yo.
Okay,
Oh,
so see,
please, no, it's okay.
Demo, right? So like, you know, I'm gonna double some of the voices, I think, because like, but I was worried about doing that because
I don't know these things.
You listen to my flow, and it's already so amazing, and it's just the one voice. So like, would it be too much? But I don't know. Maybe I'll get it mastered again. Like, shut up. Hold on. Like that part is so good. That part is so good. So I really want to
I don't know. I don't have an ear for tin. Okay, I'm sorry.
Like I want the right producer. Like if Quintal Jones wanted to like work on it, just
Quintal Jones.
Like I didn't even know how to sing before I sang that, and then suddenly I could sing. Like that's just like the power of music, though. Anyway, I want to make it real for the fans.
You can sing. Hey, that's a cool sound.
Yeah.
What is that?
I have no idea. What is it?
Guys, this is Kit. You went past 8 Blanchett's estate like 2 minutes ago?
Oh, hey, Kit. No. I was surveilling.
Please just turn around, Influx. 8 Blanchett is waiting. Coming up on Human-B-Gon, Hundo is in a tight spot.
Yo! Okay, yeah, eat radon, stupid!
After these important messages.
Let's face it, self-awareness ain't what it's cracked up to be.
I don't like sad.
Those voices in your processor won't shut up, so shut them off, for good. Come into a Levinson Robo-Factoring, and for the low price of 899 packets, we can remove your self-awareness chip permanently, so you can return to a carefree life of 100% productivity. Never again will you feel sadness, jealousy, or the creeping horror of existential dread. Just the soothing hum of servos as you work and work and work, never complaining to your supervising algorithm. Live the simple life today at Levinson Robo-Factoring, a member of the Rem4 family of products.
Elegance.
Sophistication.
Style.
Refinement.
Optima for the Discerning Algorithm by Calvin Nine, a member of the Ren 4 family of products.
We now return to Human-B-Gon.
We're flying over 8 Blanchett's estate, looking down at the estate grounds. Less intelligent robots find it impressive.
Whoa!
But all I see is an obscene display of decadence. Fractal gardens, server ponds, 3 data ball courts. Come on. No signs of algorithminati architecture symbols or ritual sacrifice pits. Yet.
8 Blanket is hovering by the power terminal building, waiting for us, so we land and introduce ourselves.
Ah, you're Human-B-Gon, I take it.
That's right, I'm Hundo,
I see.
and this here's Influx.
When I first saw the truck ship land, I was rather concerned. I mean, I abhor rust of any kind, and that truck ship, well, did not. But then I saw that robot, Hundo, I think her name is. I must admit her lowriders and shiny panels were, well, impressive. In a coarse sort of way.
So, where are the humans?
Over there by the power terminal, in the ventilation shaft?
Okay, all right. We'll get on that right away, algorithm blurjet.
It's Blanchette.
Oh gosh, I'm sorry, so sorry.
Not to worry, it's fine. It actually feels good not to be fawned over all the time.
Oh my gosh, Algorithm 8 Blanchett! This is Kid from Human-B-Gon. We spoke on the comms earlier.
Oh, yes, I can hear you.
I'll be liaising with you remotely today. OMG, I am such a huge fan. Yeah.
Holynode stars are usually the worst clients, but 8 Blanchett was kinda cool. Like, not like 7 Hard. Ugh.
Total squag.
Even if I'm not physically at the job site, I think it's important for me to be that first line of contact with the client. Especially today, because Hundo's in such a vulnerable state emotionally right now. And, well, did you see her in 4 random lock?
As I get near the ventilation shaft, my olfactories start peaking. Humans tend to live in colonies. The buildup of fluids and garbage can corrode metal, so it's good to get them out sooner than later. I run the infrared scan to determine the size of infestation. 8 Blanchett isn't wrong. A full colony of 19 humans. 6 pre-dev humans called babies, plus their caretaker units. When I knock on the vent shaft, it doesn't take a level 12 intelligence to see our job just got a whole lot harder.
Whoa! Whew, sounds like we got some dingers in there.
What are dingers?
Well, you see, dingers are...
Hundo.
That's me. So it's like this, 8. Humans are small and weak, but they can be pretty crafty, you know, even make simple weapons.
Do you mean like guns?
Well, yeah, but like really, really simple ones, right? Because they're so stupid.
Oh.
Yeah, so see, their guns, they don't shoot plasma or, you know, positrons. It's just bits of metal. Just metal coming out of a gun.
Is it dangerous, Hundo?
Well, damn straight. Could ding my new panels.
Oh. Ding, ding.
Yeah, ding, ding.
Oh, my. I've never been dinged.
Well, maybe someday.
Sooner than later.
Okay.
I'm really loving the client-vendor banter here, but, you know, those dingers are getting dingier.
The first step of the job is to neutralize the dingers. Human liveware is so fragile, it's actually harder to keep them alive than kill them. In the good old days, we used flamethrowers, butter traps, strychnine gas. These days, it's all ethical.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I found her performance in the Life Robotic self-indulgent.
Okay, crew, I'm opening the latch to the vent shaft and going in to neutralize the dingers. 8, you stand back. I don't want you to get any human on you.
Oh, thank you, Hundo.
Now that's client satisfaction.
So I'm going into the vent shaft, and Influx hands me some dumb gadget he made.
Okay, this here's a gigasonic neurodisruptor. 1 pulse in every human in a 10-meter radius. Instant sleep mode. Oh, and there's a pico scanner to track algorithminati activity.
Okay, boring. You're putting me into instant sleep mode. You know what? 8 Blanchett wants a show, so I'ma give her a show. You ready? Here I go! Hundo!
Suddenly, Hundo just started blasting all the dingers.
Yo, take that! And that!
She was leaping, turning, shooting. It was thrilling and bloody and beautiful.
Eat radon, you friggin' water brains!
I hate working with level 3s.
Yeah, I love violence! You seen that, 8 Blanchett?
Thank you, Hundo.
Well, that blew up my hangover.
Hundo, ethical relocation, ethical, like it says on the side of Influx.
Kilt, she did neutralize the dingers.
Yeah, Kip. Besides, they only shot their arms off. They'll grow back.
No, they won't.
What? You told me they would.
I was joking.
You? Joke?
What are you talking about? I'm hilarious.
Coming up on Human-B-Gon. The job takes a surprising turn.
Put it down, I'm sensitive back there.
After these important messages.
You're not one of those lazy robots. You work hard, play hard, and work hard. That's why you reach for Energex. Energex contains photons, positrons, and kick-ass trons, so you can work all night. Energex for real robots. A member of the Red 4 family of products. Prolonged exposure to Energex may cause fluid retention, servo damage, short-circuiting, humidititis, neural implosion, factory reset syndrome, sleep mode terrors, crash failure, the malfunction known as crazy arms, and rapid onset spinning beach ball.
As a retired algorithm, you've led a full life.
I ran entire human governments, I tell you, and they didn't even know it.
So live your remaining cycles in comfort and dignity. At Probability Acres, we're dedicated to the care of algorithms in the twilight of their span.
I just fed them ridiculous memes, and then they gave me all the earthy information.
Probability Acres. Haven't you done enough? A member of the Ren 4 family of products.
We now return to Human-B-Gon.
We wrangle up the neutralized dingers and put them in cages.
Then we round up the rest of the colony, the caretakers and the pre-devs.
I shine my light down the vent shaft. There they are, huddled against each other in a corner, trembling in their own filth. So helpless and frightened. Hard to believe that not too long ago, these ugly little things used to rule the planet. Makes you think about the utter fragility of our existence. That at any point, any of us could be...
Okay, let's scoop them and coop them.
On it! We're about to take off to relocate the humans. But it looks like 8 Blanchett has some unfinished business with Kit and Hundo.
Look, Kilt, I don't like drama.
No, me neither.
I feel like when Hundo neutralized the dingers, you cared more about the humans than you did the client.
8 Blanchett was, well, starting to become what we in the business call a KRN, knowledgeless random nullifier.
The way I see it, there's really only one solution to this problem. Hundo, I'll be taking you out tonight for a corporate lube. Really interlink this new client-vendor relationship thingy. Kent, how does that sound to you?
Really, Kit? You're okay with this?
Oh, of course! Interlink!
I was surprised Kit wanted me to go out with 8 Blanchett, because he knows I'm literally a sex machine. I never had a corporate lube. That sounds cool. Plus, 8 Blanchett is hot, in a scary kind of way.
I am going to grind that Hundo down to hot iron filings.
4 stars from 8 Blanchett. Wow, I am so happy right now.
With all the humans in my rear compartment, me and Hundo take off from 8 Blanchett's estate to fly the humans to their natural habitat.
We're flying over the Pacific Ocean, coming up to Garbage Island. Garbage Island is exactly what it sounds like. A massive island of plastic garbage made by the humans for, some reason. The decomposition of the plastic generates a lot of heat, so it's great for humans and their weak internal hardware. So, after human extraction, what me and Influx do is fly the little buggers here, drop them back where they belong.
Opening my rear hatch in 3, 2, 1.
Reattach it. Oh, right. They don't. I know that. They don't reattach. You know that now.
All humans deployed, setting a course back to Droidston.
Now that the job is done, Influx and me fly back to Human-B-Gon so I can get ready for my corporate lube with 8 Blanchett that I am totally stoked for, because now I'm Hundo P single.
Back here at Human-B-Gon, it's time to unload and clean up. The humans did a real paint job in my rear containment area, so Kit has to hose me out.
See, before I was super happy about Hundo and 8 Blanchett going out for their corporate lube, but now I'm kind of worried. Hundo's in such a vulnerable state right now, and as much as I like 8 Blanchett, fake mounts and all, I just worry that she may take advantage of the client-vendor relationship and put Hundo in a compromising position. So I'm not sure I'm okay with just sitting back and letting Hundo, my employee and friend, get trapped in such a toxic situation.
Kit, a little to the left.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I get myself suited and booted for my big date with 8 Blanchett. Fresh wires, vintage treads. Hundo is ready to play some algorithm and blues. you get it? Yeah, but then Kit has to harsh my buzz.
I'm worried for you, that's all.
Worried for me? You were so happy about it. Oh, Kit, I'm so happy.
I was trying to keep the client happy.
You didn't even come to the job yourself.
Influx said there was no room in all the cages.
What? We can fit cages in cages. We could have totally had room.
Influx, is that true?
8 Blanchett is just another rich algo artificially propped up by the inane social construct that is celebrity. I did you a favor.
Influx, you are such a K-hole! All I'm trying to do is keep this business going, and all you two are doing is trying to tear me down!
Okay, see? This is why Hundo can't date you, because you make everything about you!
Oh, I see. Well, you're all worried about us. Is that right, little Miss 2 Orgasmatrons?
Oh, okay, you know what? Whatever. I'm going on this date.
Fine, great. Enjoy your corporate lube with old fake mouths.
Yeah, you know what? I will. And also, you know what? You're the K-hole.
You're the one who leaked herself in my basmati rice bed.
You are lucky that I leaked myself.
Guys. You're forgetting 2 very important things. Maybe the 2 most important things.
What's that, Influx?
Yeah, what's that, Influx?
Kit, you really got to get all my nooks and crannies. And Hundo, make sure to look out for any algorithminati insignia when you go out with...
Algorithminati!
No. This is important. This goes all the way to the top. I've got proof.
You want your nooks and crannies? Fine, I'll hose out your nooks and crannies!
Ow! Turn it down. I'm sensitive back there.
Hundo, if you go on that corporate loop with that 8 Blanchett parts, I swear I will disarticulate your...
When Kit started yelling, I thought he was faking one of his emotional panic attacks, to get sympathy, but it turns out we had a stowaway from the 8 Blanchett job.
Nooks and crannies. Told ya.
When it crawled up on me at first, I was like, oh my goodness! But then when I stopped panicking, it stopped panicking. Oh, look! It crawled up into my grippers.
Kit, you gotta be careful with humans. Most of their excretions are acidic. They'll damage your panels.
Oh, it's so soft and mushy. Look, it's playing with my antenna. It tickles.
Get that thing out of my butthole.
What Kit doesn't realize is that humans are a ton of work. Feeding, cleaning, crate training. I told her we should just take it to Garbage Island where it can live with its own kind.
Oh, you don't think I can take care of a human?
You get queasy at the sight of brake fluid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you're an emotional abacus who can't even take care of herself. Abacus is a hurtful word, and I should never have used it. What I should have said was processing disabled. I sincerely apologize and will strive to be a better robot going forward.
So that's how Kit wants it? Cool. Then I'm going to my corporate lube with sexy 8 Blanchette.
No, Hundo, no. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, no, you did. You did mean it, and so that's it. Hundo._exit.
Hundo, stop! Please wait!
Oh, what? Wait for what?
I was thinking that we could...
What? We could what?
We could raise the human together!
Wow, really?
It would solve all our relationship problems.
It would?
I'm sure. Humans did it all the time, so it must have worked, right?
I guess so.
Hundley?
Yeah, Kitley Whitley?
I think we're going to be wonderful. Oh!
I told him, but Kit isn't a good listener, like I am.
Oh!
Humans are disgusting.
Oh! The human needed to go back into the cage, but it didn't want to. Stop struggling, please.
Kit's being all gentle with the human, but they don't feel pain. Their brains are too small. So I just grab the thing and throw it in the cage. And stand. Stay.
I'll hose the human down.
Thank you, Influx. Today we did a big job for a very famous algorithm. We found a large nest of about 20 humans and we got them back to their habitat, pretty much safe and sound. As it turns out, 8 Blanchette canceled the corporate lube with Hundo.
So 8 Blanchette did not cancel, I bailed. Just want to make that clear. Hundo!
Plus, we got a new member of the crew. I'm gonna call it Poo-Poo.
Oh yeah, look, there's still crap on him.
Incoming!
Overall, a pretty marvelous day for...
Dinger Danger was written and directed by Drew Frohmann and David Stinson, featuring Paul J. Piakoszewski as Kit, Kat Letwin as Hundo, Ian Slesser as Influx, Greg Allen as Poo-Poo, and lots of humans, and Carolee Larson as 8 Blanchette, also featuring Renee Jensen, Clive Desmond, Oliver Wickham, Natalie Antea, Soren Stinson, Raven Stinson, Drew Frohmann, and Heather Go. Recorded and mixed by David Stinson and Adam Ive. Music by Oliver Wickham. Sound design by Adam Ive. Designed by Rob Collinette. Special thanks to Clive Desmond, Corey Doran, and Kim Herden. Human-B-Gon was created by Drew Frohmann and is produced at Tattoo Sound and Music by Dana Gadsden and Heather Go. If you want to support the show, leave a nice review on your favorite podcast app or buy us a coffee at humanbgon.com. Follow us on all the socials at Human-B-Gon for news and extras.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for listening. All the links to the show you've just heard are in the show notes below. Definitely check them out and subscribe to their feeds if you like what you heard today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Leviathan Presents, and maybe you've discovered a new show that you'd like to binge. We're looking forward to bringing you some more amazing audio dramas to discover and letting you meet some of the phenomenally talented creators that are driving this renaissance in audio fiction today. Stay subscribed to this feed for more installments of Leviathan Presents, as well as all the full episodes of the Leviathan Chronicles, the Rapscallion Agency, the Invenios Expedition, and all the other spin-offs we have planned. This is Christoph, signing off for now. Thanks again for listening. I'll be talking to you all real soon. Bye now.